Frazier Friday, baby. Let's go. Kratz is dancing. Todd took an early morning flight just to be here with all of you. Quick apology, too. We were supposed to do a post-game show yesterday after Guardians and Tigers. Our hamster wheel was broken. The hamsters are back. We fixed the wheel for them. They're running again. So for anyone that was looking for us yesterday, we'll have plenty of post-game shows for you. Just wanted to let everyone know, full transparency all the time, that hamsters aren't perfect. We're going to talk to Ken Rosenthal coming up in just a moment. Also, great job on the series. We'll get into it more later. We got a segment on it, but good stuff, man.
Yeah, it was fun. Sean McDonough, he's one of the best to ever do it. I mean,
he's a pro.
I've gotten to work with some really, really good guys, and, that's a bucket lister right there. He was willing and able and helpful and all that kind of stuff, and he let me just be me like usual. And, getting to talk to a guy like that who's done it for so many years was great. And seeing good baseball at Progressive Field was fun too, man. It went to Game 3. First time. It's my third year doing it. Doing it. It went to a Game 3. So we got to see a little more the clinching game, which was great.
Yeah, you got an elimination Game 7 type atmosphere going there. I have some other questions for you about that series. We'll get to that a little bit later. Let's hit the inside scoop. It's FT Senior Insider Ken Rosenthal. Ken, I'd like to actually start with the Phillies and Dodgers, if you don't mind, because I think it might be two of the best teams, if not the two best teams in baseball. Do you agree? And what do you think this is going to look like with Shohei Ohtani finally pitching in a postseason game for the first time?
I agree, Scott. I think it's going to be an amazing series, and I can't wait to see how it transpires. It's so interesting on so many levels. This, for the Phillies, is not a last dance, but this core has some questions going forward. And you look at the team and the roster, the way it sets up. Schwarber's a free agent after this year. Real Muto is a free agent after this year. Both are expected back, but how many chances does this group get? And how often are they going to be able to do it? It's not a young team necessarily. So that's one element. The other element, from just a baseball perspective, the Phillies lefties against the Dodgers big lefties at the top of the lineup. Ohtani and Freeman, obviously. And then, yes, Ohtani pitching, the Dodgers bullpen. There are so many layers here. There are in every series, but this one, because of the star power with Ohtani and Schwarber, because of the environment that we're going to see in Philly, which is always great, it's just going to be really good, no doubt.
So, Ken, before my next question, can you horizontal the phone for me? Is the request from the production and direction team. So there we go. Beautiful. Great shot. Okay, and then while you're doing that, I'll ask you the question because I know you can multitask. One more on the Dodgers side. Bullpen question marks heading into the series. Do you feel like anything was answered or determined? And of course, I need your thoughts on the wild ride of Roki Sasaki from signing with the Dodgers in the offseason to not really giving them much during the season to potential closer?
Well, the Sasaki question is sort of answered. It is not answered in full, in my opinion, Scott, but they closed with him the other night. Not a safe situation, but he was the guy who finished the game. I expect that he could be used in that role here as well. Now, their bullpen is a serious question. Now, they'll have Kershaw available in relief in this particular series, I would imagine. They'll have Glass now, even though he's pitching game 4 or would be scheduled to pitch game 4. They can do some things with the bullpen, but ultimately, the guys they have, Vesia, the others, they're going to have to get outs. And Sasaki's not going to save the team. And I'm also not so sure about Sasaki, strictly from the standpoint of, here's this young guy in this crucible. Now, we saw a young guy in a crucible last night do amazing things. I'm talking, of course, about Cam Schlittler. But with Sasaki, it seems like he's a different guy than he was when he first came up, when he was sort of nervous, sort of feeling for his spot in the team and all of that. And now there's a confidence about him. The stuff is, of course, the stuff. It's really good. That confidence translates into performance. At least it has so far. Will it sustain itself, and will he be able to do that in this series? It's an intriguing thought for sure. The Dodgers sort of need it to happen. I'm just not sure it will.
Hitting on Shohei Ohtani, the starter for game 1, is his workload built up to exactly where the Dodgers want it to be? From the outside, it looks like it was perfect. They slowly worked him in. They were doing something that had never been done, somebody rehabbing Tommy John in the big leagues while still DHing. but is he worked up to where they want him to be? Because you saw Blake Snell and Yamamoto both go career high pitches or distances. And so do they feel like Shohei's where they want him to be?
Erik, I don't know that it's ideal, and I don't know that he's going 8 or 9 in any of these games. Can he go 6? He has done that. And can he go 7? If he's done 6, yes, I would expect if the pitch count is at a reasonable place. But with him, there are so many other factors involved. Fatigue, where you want him the rest of the series. Now, the reason he's pitching where he's pitching in this series and the reason he was lined up for game 3 in the previous series is because they want him to get a day off after he starts, which makes a ton of sense. Give him a day off, get his legs back under him for the offensive part of his game, too. But if you're asking me if he's going 9 and doing a Cam Schlittler, even 8 innings and 107 pitches, I don't know that that's happening. But they should be able to win without him doing that. They should be able to handle it. So we'll see how it all goes.
Yeah, this Yankee Blue Jay series is going to be one for the record books. I just got a weird feeling it's going to come to a lot of one-run games. We know you're there. We know you're talking about it. Talk about this Yankee team. They're on a real high right now. Big game yesterday from Schlittler, and they got most likely Luis Gil on the mound tomorrow. What do you think? How do you think this Blue Jay team stacks up? We know the regular season is totally different than the postseason. They haven't been there in a long time. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I love the Jays, and I love the way they go about it. Low strikeouts and actually lowest strikeout rate in the major leagues. They have a number of role players who contribute. Springer with this amazing comeback of the year story. Bichette is questionable. John Schneider, the manager, spoke earlier before, and he said they have not made a decision yet. I'd be surprised if he were on the roster. Schneider said if he's going to be on the roster, he's going to have to play and play regularly. It's hard to imagine that happening, but they have not ruled it out yet. Without Bichette, Guerrero has not been quite the same. I don't know if it's because Bichette is not hitting behind him or not, but that's going to be something for them that is going to be a huge factor. Vladdy in this series. John Schneider basically said he just wants Vladdy to play free. Now, as for the Yankees, it's interesting to me, and Schneider noted this in his press conference, it's not quite the same team, or it's not quite the same style that we've seen from them. Now, granted, they hit home runs. They led the majors in that category. That's what they do. But they've also shown other ways to score, and they've been more resourceful. They've been a better base running team. So I expect them to play well because they've played well for several weeks now. And yeah, pitching will always be the question, and how that bullpen is going to perform, that's a big question with the Yankees. And it's going to be that way until, I don't know, they figure out a way to just get consistency out of that group. But I'm with you, Todd. It should be a really interesting series, no doubt.
Yeah, and I
All
do want to
decision-
clarify.
Hold on.
Oh,
Hold on.
go ahead.
Kratz.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
want to clarify. The Blue Jays were there in 2023. I said it's been a while since they've been there. So
Since DS, though, it's
Yeah.
been a while.
Yes,
Right?
so-
They kept losing the Wild.
Yes, it's been 10 years. So yeah.
Incredible. So my question to you is basically with the team you said with the Blue Jays, like how do you think the hitting is going to be enough for this team coming through? Or do you think the Yankee pitching is going to be there again with their starting staff?
Well, I do expect the Yankee pitching to be there again. And Fried, Rodon, and now Schlittler, you have to like that. The Blue Jays offense is something of a question. And they are not this powerhouse that you might want from them, right? You want, ideally, a team that slugs and does everything in the postseason. But at the same time, they remind me somewhat of Milwaukee. They're not quite the pressure or putting the pressure on the same way that Milwaukee does on the bases, but they're good that way. So, yeah, would I like to see them hit the ball out of the ballpark a little bit more? Sure. But that's not generally the way they play, and they are a team that finds ways. And that is one of the things that's been their defining mark this year. Now, also, in the regular season, the Yankees played pretty poorly against the Blue Jays. Those were those crazy error games and all that stuff that was going on. So I expect the Yankees are going to have to clean it up, because if they give the Jays opportunities like that, that will be difficult for them.
Everything's under a microscope, especially what managers do at this time. Has there been any discussion, or have you heard John Schneider revisit what happened the last time they were in the playoffs with a bullpen that was ready to go, and he decided to take Berrios out early in Minnesota, and it essentially fell off of it, and I felt like it was the front office. Has it been addressed since you guys have been up there and having these press conferences?
Well, he was asked just in general what he's learned about managing in the postseason, and basically he said you've got to read and react, and gave the normal answer you would expect from any manager. He is well aware of what happened with Barrios. We all are well aware of it. I don't know that there's any need for anyone to rehash it, so to speak, but I would expect that whoever made that decision, whether it was the front office, whether it was Schneider, whether it was some combination of both, they learned their lesson. And hey, I wrote about this today. Managers in these moments, they do things that are questionable. That's just the nature of the beast. And it's going to be that way in this series. It's going to be that way in every series going forward. That's part of the fun of this time of year. But often what we judge is outcome based, and that can go either way. When the Barrios decision was made, that reminded me somewhat of, well, what happened in some of these series in the wild card round, where you could second guess it right away and say, what are they doing? I thought with Bayo the other night, I know he wasn't pitching well necessarily, but I thought that was early for Alex Cora. I thought last night he stuck with Connolly early too long. These are all debatable things. The managers always have their reasons for doing things, but I would expect a better version of the Blue Jays game management than we saw in that wild card series.
Ken, that's where I want to finish. Just if you can elaborate more on what you put together last night about Alex Cora and how that blends into the way that the Red Sox roster was constructed. Not a good defensive team. I didn't feel like they were very intimidating offensively. Obviously, they traded Devers. Roman Anthony quickly became a key piece. Do you place a lot of blame on Cora for managing? Did the Red Sox really have a chance here?
I don't place a lot of blame necessarily. I thought he managed out of character for him. He was aggressive in game two. That was more in character. Last night, sticking with early as long as he did, that surprised me. Now, he said there was poor defense. There were some balls that got through. Okay, but it was a long time he was in there. 31 pitches before he was removed in a game that's a must win. It's an elimination game. And it wasn't the way he managed the night before with Bayo. So it was just different. And that surprised me. Were they as good as the Yankees? No. And Scott, the things you mentioned, I believe are exactly right. Defensively, a little short, and offensively short as well, especially without Anthony. So they've got some work to do. Bregman's got the opt out. Story's got the opt out. I don't know if the Story will opt out, but I would expect Bregman will. And they're going to have to find some more offense even beyond that. Was this Alex Cora's fault that they lost the series? No. What surprised me, and the reason I wrote what I did is because it just didn't seem to me that he demonstrated the normal Alex Cora feel for the game that we've come so accustomed to seeing.
Yeah, the expectations are high for him. He's done a great job in games very often, including to a World Series title several years ago. Ken, thank you. We're excited for the broadcast. We'll be watching Blue Jays and Yankees and you on the sideline.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. That's Ken Rosenthal. That's the Inside Scoop. Fair Territory is back on Tuesday, Fair Territory, as we adjust with the postseason schedule. So you can get Ken's thoughts on the series he's covering and everything else, just like he did with us on a longer form on Fair Territory, wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. We're swinging back to talk about the Yankees Blue Jays series ourselves. We've all been there. You thought you did something, but you didn't. That's all I'm going to say. If you're listening to the podcast right now, we're showing a photo of Giancarlo when he thought he hit a homer, and then of him hustling going, oh, crap, it's actually a double. And he ran pretty good for Giancarlo. If you've watched him all year, I mean, he doesn't move too well, but he moved better there.
Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, we all thought it was gone from the way he stood up and thought it was out of the ballpark. You can't see him right away just because the camera wasn't on him, but, you know, you heard Ravi up there, the play-by-play guy talking. Is like, oh, he better get going. So he had to book it a little bit, and I think that's the fastest he's probably ran in a long time. So he got to second base. All's well and done, you know, but if he didn't get to second base, that would have been not the first time that that's happened. So thank God. And he said it, kids, don't do that. Don't try that afterwards. So he got away with it, but I think he won't make that mistake again.
Yeah, but I mean, the reason G was running fast is because when he runs fast, sometimes things break apart. So if he was out and he stayed healthy, That's actually more of a positive than I think fans would have been pissed, obviously. But the reason G runs slow isn't because he's slow. It's because when he runs fast, pulls a calf, pulls a hammy. Like you got to keep him together because he can hit balls just like he did that at bat. I think the foul ball right before was 116. And then that line drive to left center off the middle of the wall was 114. So G needs to be in the lineup. If he runs slow and makes a bad choice, you know what? You live with it.
That is true. You need a healthy Giancarlo Stanton for at-bat purposes to be a World Series winning ball club this year. I don't think anyone doubts that, right? You're going to need some big G moments if you're going the distance.
Yeah, and with Judge hitting before him too as well. So, I mean, that's a fact. You got Bellinger and him too, but at the same time, you know, who scares you the most? Is it Bellinger or is it Giancarlo? So, to me, it's Stanton any day of the week, especially with his track record in the playoffs too. So, need him healthy. He made it through. The whole baseball world in New York can breathe a sigh of relief right now knowing that he's ready for game one after a hustle double.
We got 30 seconds, but did this ever happen to you?
It happened to me one time in college, and we were playing against Georgetown, and I thought I hit a homer opposite field. I didn't. I was safe at second. They actually came together and called it a home run, but my late, great coach, Fred Hill, he said, "Come here." He pounded my hand. I thought he broke my hand. He said, "Don't ever do it again."
Yeah.
Oh, he was pissed.
He was bringing it.
I got hit. I got thrown at the next at bat, too.
Wow.
Yeah, it was good. Well deserved. Well deserved.
Hey, let's charge the mound. It's powered by Arena Club, best card marketplace in the biz. We'll talk more about it at the back end of the conversation. Obviously, we have to start with Cam Schlittler. 8 innings, 12 strikeouts. He's a rookie. He set all kinds of records. And you've seen this.
Yeah.
You saw some of this during the year. He's got that kind of stuff. I mean, he showed up in a big, big moment. He had some motivation that he created as a Red Sox fan, and hearing it from Red Sox fans, whatever works, right? Whatever gets you pissed off. You got to smack him in the face before a game to get him real pissed. It worked.
And I think everybody probably thought this whole scenario, like, oh, wow, he's coming throwing 99, 100 miles an hour. When is it going to tick down? And it never ticked down. He stayed in that upper 90 echelon the whole time. Little baby cutter. He's 6'6", guys, 225. He throws the ball hard, and it started with that first inning when he came out and busted up Bregman on that outer half at 100 miles an hour. He is so lengthy, the ball gets on you, and that upper tier fastball got to a lot of hitters. 12 strikeouts, pretty impressive in the boogie down. And the thing, and I'm more impressed, every time he got out of those innings, Scott, he walked off like, up, just another day at the park, you know, and I felt that. I loved every second about that. And this is a Boston kid or a Massachusetts kid, I should say. So to do that against, you know, your favorite team growing up, that had to feel pretty darn good.
I mean, Boone was quoted a lot of times. I mean, there's very few pitchers that I trust more than Cam Schlittler. But his composure just reiterated that. You can see things on the mound in situations like this. The dude's never looking over at the dugout. There's a lot of young pitchers. You know, they make a pitch, good or bad, wiping their face, and they kind of glance over at the dugout. The camera was 98% on Cam Schlittler, pre-pitch, after pitch. He looked like every pitch was the first pitch of his outing. He never wavered from the approach that he was going to take, and it was attacking the zone. And then when he got ahead, he was going to make his best pitch up above the zone, and the Red Sox couldn't handle it. And it was, to me, I thought it was the best managed game of the series. Everybody's going to give Cora so much credit for leaving Garrett Crochet in. Garrett Crochet's like 6'8", like 280 pounds. Like, he's a monster. He's a vet. This dude is a rookie. And for Boone to say, I see what he's throwing. I see we have no letdown. Did he have a 4-run lead? Absolutely. He trusted this kid, and I think going forward, it's only going to help Cam in just continuing to have success in this playoffs. He might not go 8 because I think he's probably going to be a little sore today.
I'm going to disagree with you, Kratz. He has shown some really strong performances during the year. The stuff is clearly there, right? Hey, you heard me yesterday on the show. I think I was more debating with AJ about it. I'm like, Schlittler's going to get some work, dude. I think he could pick up some serious work if he's on a roll, and he did. Did anyone expect him to go 8 innings? Of course not. But it didn't really seem like he was in many stressful moments, and you do have a multi-run lead. So why are you touching it? I think if anything, we're learning in this postseason that you at least have to play it batter to batter later on in a game if you've got a lead like that and he's humming along. The only question mark for me, I guess, would have been sending him out for the 8th inning. But before that, I don't feel like there were any decisions to be made. It's the easiest job in baseball when you're Aaron Boone in that particular game and you're going, cool, we got a lead, and this dude looks like he's possessed right now.
But what have we always seen? I mean, you can't veer any farther from the norm for the Yankees than what they did last night, whether or not he looked good or not. Like, he is, like, for Boone to stick with it, I have to commend him because he used his eyes. Maybe it was common sense eyes. Maybe it was clear what he was doing, but it doesn't mean that that is so far from the norm for the Yankees.
Loved every second of it. And, when he came off in the 8th inning and, Boone kind of looked over to, Matt Blake, his pitching coach, and whomever else was next to him. He's good. He looks good. Like you could basically read what he was saying. You could read his lips. He's going out there again. So I give him credit because it's very unheard of nowadays, Scott. And I think you bring a good point. It would be nice to see that as the norm, given a little leeway. I would love to see him go out and get one batter and see if he got him out to see if, he would have let him go one more. But phenomenal job. I mean, this kid get every newspaper, big dog, because guess what? You're going to be on every single one. This is your day. This is your coming out party. And now the world knows how good of a pitcher you are.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Boston fans might not be too pleased about a local kid tweeting what he tweeted. Now, drinking that dirty water. If you don't know what that means, you need to listen to some of the music that they play in Fenway post wins. Wow. Just saying, he knows how to press some buttons. So look, when you do something like that, you have a little bit of
water.
Yep, you sing it.
Boston,
like you have street cred.
Yeah.
You have street cred. And he wasn't saying nothing about the Jays. He wasn't saying nothing about the 6. There's no bullpen or bulletin board material. But the Red Sox should remember this for sure because the local kid got him this time.
Okay, so spin it forward. Cam Schlittler, next round, and if the Yankees keep moving on. Is this a number 1 starter now? I mean, I'm not saying he's pitching game 1, but I'm saying do the Yankees suddenly have a force in the rotation where it was more of a question mark heading into this postseason?
They have 4 number 1 or number 2s now. When Cole gets healthy. I mean,
that's next year.
I'm just talking. I know. I'm thinking about all the guys that they have 1 healthy. I think they have 3 number 1 guys right now that are really darn good.
Okay.
And Luis Gil is not too far away from that too. When he throws strikes and he's on and he's pounding the zone, there's another really good starter. Not saying he's a number 1, but again, you got 3 guys at the top of your rotation that are really darn good and that are impressive and that could throw like this. And Cam doesn't even have to throw that good like he did last time. It'd be great for the Yankees if he did that, don't get me wrong. But if he is himself and he gives 6, 7 innings or, 5 good innings in bullpen, which people are like, I don't want to see that. But of 0 runs, 1, 2 runs, that's all they really need at the end of the day. So, again, they would love to see 8 innings of 12 strikeouts every single time. Will it happen? No. But if he can give 6 good innings, that's pretty impressive in my book.
Todd, what's the easiest pitch to square up for a homer? A high fastball or a fastball down in the zone?
I would say for me personally, for everybody, I would say down in the zone.
Okay. The Jays hit high fastballs. Their highest slug is on high fastballs up in the zone. The Jays do not strike out. I am so intrigued to watch Cam Schlittler in his next start against the Jays, a team that doesn't strike out. And the easiest pitch for teams who are just putting the ball in play to elevate, to do damage on, is that fastball up in the zone. And we're seeing George Springer's beautiful Arena Club card here, and I'm saying this is where that maturation continues. Is he a number one? Absolutely, showed number one stuff against a team that had the third highest strikeout rate on the road in Boston. He took advantage of a team that strikes out a lot. He did a great job of that. How does he make the adjustment against the Jays, against a Alejandro Kirk, who has one of the lowest swing and miss rates, against a middle of the lineup that just is not afraid of putting the ball in play? And when a ball's in play that's elevated, is a better chance of going in the gap or over the fence.
100 miles an hour is pretty hard to hit, in my opinion.
That's a special fastball.
98, whatever it is. So yeah, I agree with you totally. You're 100% right. A little postseason action, a little more pressure, a little more nerves. That fastball gets on you quick. So again, I love fastballs. Don't get me wrong, but a fastball up was hard for me to hit.
All right, so game one of this series, Kevin Gausman pitching for the Blue Jays, and he's had his ups and downs, Kratz. I mean, he's not the Gausman from a few years ago. He can be that guy sometimes, but it's not a given. Nobody's a given. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, a few years ago, this was a guy who was a Cy Young contender, and I still think he has number one moments. But will he be that guy for the Blue Jays to try and set the tone? The Yankees are coming off a 3-game series here. Blue Jays have been waiting and prepping for this. They got everything lined up besides Bo Bichette, which we'll get to. But what do you think?
I think his fastball split combination is a great combination in the playoffs. I mean, that might be such a rudimentary thing to say, but just the ability to have a pitch that starts where you want to hit the fastball and then finishes down out of the zone is to me, it's a game changer. And I think it's yet to be seen how he's going to do in the playoffs, how he's going to do in this first game. But the Yankees are going to be amped up. They're already hot and sweaty from their previous series. So I think they're going to be in a little bit more of a swing mode. Can the Phillies say anything down? Can the Yankees say anything down in the zone we're just not swinging at and be okay with that late life heater that he's going to paint at the bottom of the zone being called strike 3? Because if they are, then they're not going to chase that splitter out of the zone. If they're not okay with that and they're aggressive, Gausman's going to kill him. He's going to eat him alive.
Yeah, and he's pitched well against the Yankees too. So that's where it's like a little concerning. And what kind of Luis Hill are you going to get? Are you going to get the guy that's overpowering, that is going to hit his spots? Is his changeup going to be as lethal as it always is? So there's a lot of things to think about. I can't wait for this series. I can't wait to see, who comes out on top. Are the Yankees going to find a way to sneak one game in there before they come back home? So it's one of those things. We wait and see.
And we're looking at Judge there. The Judge card freed obviously will appear later in this series, but Aaron Judge had a bad postseason last year. That's no secret. He's had a nice start to his postseason here with some knocks, but now you get a fuller series here of best out of 5 for Judgy to look more like the regular season Judge that we're used to seeing year after year. More opportunities. For me, eventually, he's going to have one of those series where it's like, oh, crap. I mean, Judge just took over,
Yeah, of course. And I see that. And I think this was like a breath of fresh air, for everybody to see. Still hit the ball hard. He found a way to, get on base. There were singles, don't get me wrong, but he had opportunities to get guys in. He put the ball in play. His strikeouts were down. So this is a great sign. And I think you saw it on his first at bat of the series. First pitch swing and base hit up the middle. He was ready to go. He's not taking anything, and he's getting after it. So love the aggressiveness. I would stay with that and do that moving forward.
Kratz, for
My
me,
question,
right? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say my question is, can the Jays beat the Yankees? Or because during the season, the Yankees were giving them the games. I know the Jays had to do stuff, and I'm probably going to get some hate from the 6, but the Yankees booted the ball around. I think one series they had 5 errors in a 3-game series. Can the Blue Jays, if the Yankees play clean, because they played clean last series, if they play clean again, do the Jays have enough to beat the Yankees?
They had a better defensive performance than we've seen usually from them, right, lately. And actually, I want to point out some really nice base running. Jazz, Bellinger. And then on top of all of that, for me, Kratz, the combination of Schlittler's emergence. That was actually the first time I messed it up in a minute, but Schlittler's emergence and Bo Bichette. They're not going to have him on the active roster unless he's a full go and ready to be a contributor in the field and at the plate for the team. He's still day to day. The running is still the test. We're running out of time. If Bo Bichette is not in this series, man, I mean, that's what? Top 3 hitter for them. And for me, I think his game plays up in the postseason. This year alone, in runners in scoring position spots, I think he was top 3 batting average wise. He's very clutch. This is a huge loss for them heading into this series if he's not a part of the mix. So I think those 2 things alone, for me, shift to the Yankees being the favorite in this series. Doesn't mean they're going to win, but I actually think they're the favorite based on cleaner defense, base running that stood out last series, Bo hurt, and Cam emerging.
Yeah, and I think even if Bo does come to play, he's coming in the postseason. He's not playing regular season games. So I think that's another focal point. Yeah, you could sit there and say he's a pro, but it's a different ballgame. Maybe it helps him, maybe it doesn't, but I would love to see a healthy Bo out there. I think it would make this series even that much more interesting, but all the talks are leaning that he might not be. So you got to be somewhat – no one's ever 100%, but with the injury, you got to be closer to 100% to be ready to go because you don't want to miss a guy out all of a sudden. It was too early to come.
Hey, let's thank Arena Club for powering up the segment. Use the code FOUL to get yourself 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase at arenaclub.com/foul. Some of the cards that we showed you available to either buy within the marketplace or in slab packs. There are holy grails in slab packs where you're going to get a value of a card that is way more than the price of the slab pack if you nail one of those grails in the slab pack. So it's like taking your packs of cards and then just narrowing it down to let me get one good card in my pack. I don't care about a lot of these crap common cards. Arena Club's got it right. You get the card if you ask them to mail it to you. Otherwise, you can sell it off. arenaclub.com/FOUL. Get yourself 20% off. We'll be right back. The Yankees, they're not a good team. I don't care what their record is. They have a lot of wild pitches. They make a lot of mistakes in the field. They don't run the bases very well. Buck Martinez said this, a couple months ago about the Yankees. In fairness, Blue Jays fans who listen to him every day, and he's great, he'll be just as straightforward about the Jays or anybody else, but you can pick those quotes out when somebody's actually bringing it, and we like that. I like the honesty. And, hey, tell me how you feel. Say it with your chest.
Yeah, and I like Buck Martinez, too. I get along with him very well. We talk a lot whenever I see him. Yeah, I mean, listen, at that time, was he right? Probably, but you got to remember, anything you say could come back to haunt you, so this is going to be a series. Is it going to be firepower for the Yankees? I don't know. I don't think anybody, going to see that until maybe now. If it was a player who said it, it's a different story. You got all these analysts and media and everybody else talking smack. It happens. I don't think it's bulletin board stuff for the Yankees. I honestly just think Buck was being honest at the time and explaining, his dislike to the Yankees, and he kind of kept going with it. So I don't think it's more than that. I think Buck's going to be on his best behavior, and I think we'll see a good series.
I think he's being very honest. I mean, and if you're the Yankees, and after what happened last postseason, the Dodgers comments, and then this season in stretches, not all the time, but in stretches, it was bad. So you have to continue to work on those things. You can't make the mistake that Nate Eaton made for the Red Sox in the playoffs. This is exactly what you play for. You play for these games. And so if there's a chink in your armor, if there's an issue that you have to take care of, you got to take care of it before you make it to the playoffs. And we'll see. First series, Yankees showed they've cleaned up all those mistakes. We'll see what happens when there's a little bit more speed, a little bit more pressure on them here in the Blue Jays series, if they can continue to play clean. And the shoulder, the cortisone shots that Volpe got in his shoulder, clearly are showing that he feels like he can let that ball eat when he throws it, which I think is a game changer too at short.
If Jazz scores on a hustle play, base running wise, does he like point to the broadcast booth or something?
No.
I think it'd be fun.
He might.
I'm kidding.
Oh, look at me.
Yeah. Look at that base running. How you like that?
Maybe when they clinch, they'll do something. I don't know. Or if they clinch.
Yeah,
We'll see.
but Buck's a straight shooter. He does that to everyone, including his own team that he broadcasts for. Showtime. The Cubs took down the Padres in a winner-take-all Game 3. There was a very, very controversial, but not really call because it was an incorrect call, okay? Bad call in the ninth inning on Xander Bogaerts. And forget fans and people like me who don't have a horse in the fight, right? I'm just watching and I hate a bad call late in the game. The Padres players were really, really pissed, vocally pissed, giving it to the umps after the game when they lost. I mean, this is your season, right? You're down 3-0. You get one from Merrill. Look how close they got to the umpires. I mean, it looked like they were trying to literally fight them. To me, that's inappropriate. I don't care how much they messed crap up. Look at that, Todd Father.
Who is that? I don't know who that is, the first guy in there. Holy cow.
You can't do that.
Listen, I've gotten in arguments with umpires. I've gotten in a bunch of them. I've never seen it like that as they're leaving the field. I've talked to Guccione one time about while they're leaving. I said, "Hey, Gooch, before you go, just please do me a favor and take a look at the strike 3 you called me. I know it's over with, but it was a missed call." Like, that's how I talked to him. And he's like, "You got it." I never saw him again, but we never talked about it. But angry, man. I understand the anger. I understand I would be frustrated too. I would want to say something too, but the game's over with. You have to move on. And, I think in the heat of the moment, how a lot of the guys struggled, how they struggled with runners in scoring position. I think it all boiled after that. But yeah, I think going down the steps didn't help either because it looked like either DJ Rayburn tripped or he's trying to get out of there quick thinking something was going to happen. Man, they were angry. They were furious.
They were definitely mad, but I'm going to have to take the other side too. You can't bark back at them. I mean, I know you guys are a group of 7. You're all going down a dugout together. Like you just can't bark back at them. And everybody sees the player come over and yell at him, but my focus goes right to, was it Guccione that was behind the dish?
No, that was DJ Rayburn.
Oh, okay. I mean, but if you look right away at DJ Rayburn, he's hot. I mean, he's hot. He didn't like what it was yelled at him, and I'm not saying players should yell at him, but just go back down the dugout and don't. It's just not a good look. You see the players walk over here, and then he leans in too. DJ leans in and gives him his piece. And like everybody else is just like, okay, we're gonna go, hold them back.
Oh,
players are pissed. Players are pissed. I haven't seen players that pissed in caught on video.
Excuse me, my pen fell.
The game's done.
The game is done, but
during the game you want to go after
done.
someone, but
the
season's
but
done.
Listen, they barked at him, but then DJ, I would love to know. We'll never know. We'll love to know what DJ said, because if nobody was there, it looked like they were ready to go get him. He might have said, "Yeah, just because you didn't effing hit." I don't know. I'm speculating.
Yeah.
I mean, I had an umpire last week in my travel ball game. I said, "Man," I just said, "Hey, listen, I just want both sides. Could we just be a little more consistent?" That's all. And that's how I talked to him like that. "Don't be mad. Your team's not hitting." I said, Okay, valid point. I said, "I got you. I just need you to be more consistent." That's all. And I walked away. He got me. That was good. But at the end of the day, they looked like they were ready to go, Kratz. Like Bogaerts looked like he was, oh man, like it was something.
I hope that every single San Diego Padre voted for the ABS challenge system, if not all balls and strikes to be called. I'm serious. Like, I'm surprised that not every single player votes for this. I get it. Every single pitch might be too much for you, But to not vote for a challenge system in 2025, you're absolutely nuts. Like, I want to forget just every single player, right? You get so pissed in these moments. These are the moments that we're talking about. Ninth inning, that is not a strike. Now we're going to fix that starting in 2026. We're going to look back and be like, that doesn't happen anymore. When it's a blatant miss, it's not happening. JJ Cooper wrote an article. We can show some of the information that he put up there, our buddy from Baseball America, who's super smart talking about the game. But I'm like, anybody that doesn't agree, or I've still even heard recently a former player who's a broadcaster who's recently out of the game say, well, the human element of the game, but not just the human element. He's like, I want the umpires to be human beings for every single pitch. I'm like, every pitch? Do you go to the ballpark and you want every pitch to be called by a human, even if it's wrong? I'm like, come on. So JJ, by the way, wrote the article, would it have been called a ball or a strike by the ABS system? And there's the pitch location from ABS. It's a ball. I think anybody saw that with their eyeballs too. The other point, though, is, Todd Father, we see this all the time right now in regular season and postseason games. This is not like, oh my gosh, there was one call missed that decided everything. This happens all the time, every game. He actually had a pretty good game ratings-wise. He had one bad miss in the ninth inning. Yeah. Would it have led to something? Maybe. But also the Padres were 3 for 26 with runners in scoring position. Yeah. Tatis, Arraez, and Machado were 0 for 11 in that elimination game. There's both sides of the coin here. Here's his umpire scorecard. And again, I'm not defending him because I am pro robots calling as many balls and strikes as possible because I'm sick of this crap. But at the same time, let's not act like this was an outlier game and he was coming after the Padres, right? When I saw this, because I did miss a few pitches throughout the game because we were watching both games at the same time. And I'm like, was this like a terribly umpired game? And I'm talking to other people and they're like, no. And then you look at the umpire scorecard. This wasn't a disaster game. It was one bad pitch and they're losing their mind.
Yeah, and I think the messed up part about it, like, great game. Awesome. But in the ninth inning, when it comes to crunch time and the other team's not, you got to find a way to be the best that you can be. And you see it a lot of the times. The call, you got to be specific. You got to be ready. That's the calls that got to be made right. And he missed the biggest one of the day with nobody out. It would have been a runner on first. Not saying he would have hit the next two batters or whatever, but still the pressure would have been put on and the game would have definitely been changed. Would they have won? We don't know. We never know that. But on a 3-2 count, lock in, man. Just lock in. That was the biggest pitch of the night.
Yeah, but he's trying. I don't think it's that. I just think he messed up. He saw what nobody else saw. And let me ask you a follow-up question. Because for me, it's a layup question. How do we fix that? How do we present that? How do we prevent that from ever happening again?
Well, you got the system.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's fine.
We're about to fix it. We should have had this. We should have had this 10 years ago.
I still want umpires out there, though. I don't want them ever to leave.
That's fine, but a challenge would fix this. Done. Fixed.
I love it.
Ball.
I think they should get 3 challenges, but go ahead. That's another story.
No, I don't say it should have been 10 years ago because I was on the board when they started talking about like the review system. It takes a while to find stuff that actually works. The reviews, they were going to do the exact same thing as they do in tennis, the Hawkeye for fair and foul balls, every single one. And when I saw the evidence, exactly how it worked on a grass baseball field, that wasn't going to work. So it takes time. I get it. You want it like sooner than later, but it does take time. 10 years is probably too much.
Okay, 5 years. Well, I will say the pitch clock was ready like 12 years ago. We were doing it in the Arizona Fall League. That was ready. And that was two sides that don't get along and bickering about other things and it leading to preventing our game from being better. That's a fact. Okay. That's the only reason why that wasn't in there sooner. I'll dispute that to death with anybody.
Don't yell at me.
I love you. Brewers Cubs. Thoughts on this series coming up? Freddie Peralta is going to start game 1 for a Brewers team. They got to chill for a little bit. Oh. These two teams know each other super well. They play in the NL Central together.
Of course. And shame on me. I didn't know how good the Cubs bullpen was. I had no idea. I knew they were a good team, but I just don't remember seeing these guys come in and dominate like that. They were absolutely phenomenal. I like the Cubs. I do. I like the Cubs here. They're riding the hot hand. Kratzy's going to love this one. They haven't played in almost 6 days.
Here we go. Here we go. I want to see his face.
Hey, listen.
Here we go.
Listen, at the end of this day, it's going to be 6 days because they played at 3 o'clock on Sunday. So 6 days off of playing baseball. Pitchers, fine. Hitters, we're going to see a little different story here. So I do like the Cubs in this series. I think they're riding a high. They do have the series against them during the regular season, but home field advantage is going to be big. Freddie Peralta is filthy. I'm not sure who they're starting either. Did they come out and say who they're going to be starting? Not yet.
I don't think so yet.
I'm not sure. Kratzy, have you heard it?
I haven't seen it yet. No, I haven't seen it.
But
start.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to let you get your little rebuttal up here.
No, I love it. I blush every time you say when guys get 6 days off, it's just tough to hit, because that was the story of my entire career.
Yeah.
So anytime that topic is brought up, I'm just thank you, Todd. I could have been somebody. I could have been a great player, but I disagree with you. I don't know that the Cubs can beat Freddie Peralta twice. That is the benefit that you have as the Brewers, because they have a guy like Freddie Peralta. Has it worked out in other years for the Brewers? No. They had Corbin Burns. They had Big Woo. They had Freddie Peralta other years. They've had legit starting pitching. I just feel like the Cubs are going to have a tough time beating him twice. And so where do you find your 3 wins?
Is Big Woo ready to rock or what?
No, he's out.
No.
I don't think he's going to play at all.
All right.
No Big Woo. It's a totally different Miz.
Yeah.
But there's still plenty of pitching talent there.
Yeah,
and some guys that came back at the end of the year.
Is Miz going to start? Is it going to be in the bullpen? What do you got?
No.
Bullpen, I think, yeah, if that.
That's a crazy second half.
It's been pretty bad for him lately, but Trevor McGill's back, which is big for them.
Yep.
DL Hall came back at the end of the year for them. And, I mean, we talked to Quinn Priester the other day, who's had a great year. There's plenty of pitching talent there. And I do think the Brewers have the edge on offense, too.
Okay.
I know that most years you need some pop to go along with the way that they play small ball and consistent contact and all that. But they do have a little more pop than they have usually had. I know that the regular season numbers don't totally show it, 22nd or whatever in homers, but they've got something there. We'll talk more about that series as we move along here on FT. Northside Territory is all locked in on that series as well. Sahadev Sharma and Patrick Mooney, who cover the team for The Athletic, also bring you the best coverage on the Chicago Cubs on a daily basis. Go check out their latest episode, and we'll be right back with pitching ninja Rob Friedman. So here's one from Steven, who's part of the Hammer Territory crew. Does a great job on that show, the Brave show that we have. And he said, hot take for future ABS challenges. The way the NFL doesn't make teams use their challenges on touchdowns or turnovers, they're just automatically reviewed. He wants it to be like that for any call after the 7th inning that ends in at bat. I disagree, at least for now. Maybe we can change that in the future. But Kratz, for me, the biggest moment in a game could be the 5th inning with the bases loaded and something bad happens and you choose to use it or not. So I think reviewing all of those, I think we go with the challenge system for now. I like Todd Father's call. I think 2 might be too few. You want 3, right? Is that what you said?
Because there's 1, 2, and 3 strikes you're out at the old ball game.
Okay.
So
I'm with you. I'll take 3 of those before we say every at bat late.
I knew Kratzy would like that.
I want to see how it goes. It's not comparable. Yes, we saw it last night that strike 3 ended the at bat. It didn't end the inning. It didn't give the ball back over to the other team like it does in football. Like that's the point scoring time. Like I don't think so. I think we wait and see, because I do not want the robo umps. I don't want it. As much as I love ABS and I think it's a slam dunk 100%, I do not want robo umps. And if we go right away to this 7th, 8th, and 9th inning thing that we're talking about here, I feel like we need to see how this plays out.
Yeah, I will say I promote these kinds of ideas, so I don't want to hold back Stephen Tolbert.
Totally.
I want him to bring all of that to the table. I'm just saying I don't see it right now, right? I think what we have is a good first step into the ABS challenge system starting next year.
That's the last step.
Yeah, that's all you want.
That's
you
all.
want that with 3.
You either change it to give him a certain amount, higher or lower, whatever you think it 2 comfortable this year, you can change it to 3, but I don't want to see anything else after that.
Okay.
I don't want to see anything else. I just think all of a sudden the game's just going to be so mechanical and like, oh my God, this and that. Like everybody's like, what happened to the old school game? Running guys over at second base, knocking guys over at home. It started, we can't do that. Now the umpires are not even on the field. Like, whoa, no.
Get off Todd's lawn. Get off his lawn. Did you park on his lawn, Scott?
He can. He's parked in the rocks. He's good.
Yeah, I'm in the rocks, but the lawn looks really good. It's a nice day today.
He just got mowed yesterday.
Oh.
Usually on Fridays. I'm surprised he came right. I'll give him a call.
Nice haircut today for the lawn. Hey, we've got the great pitching ninja with us, Rob Friedman, back on Foul Territory. Check out everything Pitching Ninja brings to the table, Twitter, YouTube, and everywhere else. Rob, great to have you on. I do want to start with history. Shohei Ohtani is going to pitch for the first time in the postseason, and I just want to make sure that we don't miss the moment and how cool it is that somebody's going to pitch in October baseball and still obviously be one of their most valuable bats. So your expectations for Ohtani here, and do you think that they lined him up correctly by putting him in a spot where he can get the day off after the first one?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Anytime you can get Shohei on the bump, it's like Christmas for me. Like, that is fantastic. He's been filthy. Like, I hope everybody's been paying attention. Like, arguably as nasty as anybody on the planet. So yeah, I expect big things out of him.
And then also I wanted to ask you about Roki Sasaki and how much you've followed his story throughout the year. He was one of maybe 3 that dominated the offseason headlines for us, Rob. And then it was pretty much a nothing burger for the entire year due to ineffectiveness and injury. Did you see this coming? And what are you seeing right now? Isn't this the Roki that we expected? Forget it. Can he do that over 5-6 innings, whatever? But right now we were all excited about the fastball splitter combination, and here it is.
Literally the guy that we expected. There were a ton of comments. I posted his highlights from his last appearance, and a bunch of Japanese fans were like, this is the Roki Sasaki of the 2 consecutive no-hitter type guy. Like, this was what everybody expected. I noticed a little change in his mechanics. I don't know if any of y'all noticed, but he's got more bend in his back leg now, and I think he is more glute dominant than quad dominant, which helped him with his velo. And I'm sure the Dodgers worked on that while he was struggling and fixed him in the minor leagues. But he looked fantastic. Like, this was the Roki we all expected.
Obviously, see him in a closing role is something new, but it's not the easiest thing. And kind of piggybacking on the whole Shohei thing, are both of these guys set up to, one, because the Dodgers want to make a deep run? Are they set up to recover and be able to give the team all that the team's going to need? Roki in the bullpen, can he bounce back from a intense max effort 9th inning and pitch again in the 9th inning again? Can Shohei bounce back for game 5? Because that's what you want from your game 1 starter.
I have little doubt about Shohei bouncing back. Shohei's been there. You know, he started for forever. He knows what he's doing and is incredibly talented. Roki, I'm a little more skeptical of, or a little more worried, because being a closer in the postseason is a whole different ball game. And, you know, I know his mechanics have been fixed. I know his stuff looks really good, but when you got a hostile crowd yelling at you, all things go to hell. Like, we'll see, but he looks really good. He looks like he's pitching well within himself. So I'm optimistic that he'll be good. His stuff is definitely good enough to play at the end of the game, but whether he can bounce back and deal with hostile crowds and stuff like that, you know, we'll see. Will he turn up his game like Cam Schlittler did last night?
Yeah, that was absolutely ridiculous. There's some names out there that are just getting well known, and for a while now, a guy throwing in the 8th inning, first time ever in the postseason, 12 Ks. Dabble a little bit about him and his performance of, you know, what you thought and what you saw from him. Like, is there anything you see when he throws that's like above average or something that, you know, crosses your mind when you're watching a guy like Cam Schlittler throw?
Yeah. The big thing that I saw was he dominated with 3 different variations of his fastball. So you couldn't sit on one. I mean, at his 4-seam fastball, obviously, threw a two-seamer off that, and then hitters are, getting a little more confused. And then with his cutter, he was able to tunnel them as well as sequence them really well. And 100 miles an hour gets on you real quick anyway. But when you have to determine whether it's one of three different variations, that's tough, because I got asked that question. Why can't hitters hit him? And that's a big reason. Also, he throws so effortlessly and gets 100 miles an hour. Like, you look at it and the ball just jumps out of his hand. And I think as a hitter, that probably is somewhat deceptive.
As a pitcher throwing 100 miles an hour, you are going for strikeouts. Are we right?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Everybody loves the strikeouts.
Everybody
He's about to face a team that does not strike out. Does he have the repertoire to be able to get that weak contact? I know what you're talking about. His cutter, and I wouldn't even call it a sinker. It was more of a runner. It's running off. So he's playing all that top plane. And the Blue Jays hit balls at the top plane, high velocity, better than any team. That's why they strike out the least. Does he have enough to go off that top rail and go downstairs to get early, quick outs with low exit velocity?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the cat and mouse game. It's going to be really interesting how he makes that adjustment, because you're right. Like, that team does not strike out a lot. Cam showed that he had whiff stuff, but it's a different animal going against the Blue Jays. I did notice he did throw some true sinkers and then some runners. Yeah, I agree with you. Is he going to throw more of that? Is he going to rely on his cutter to get some weak contact? Jam some folks? Maybe. Like, I'll be interested to see how they game plan, because this is going to be really interesting.
I want to talk a little about, because we were talking about this when you came on here, the ABS system. What are your thoughts on it? And people always explain, we saw the final strikeout. Well, not the final, the out to Bogarts yesterday, the pitch that was really down low. I would love to hear your thoughts and what you think about it moving forward. Is there more we could do? Do you like the 2 pitch calls? Like, do you think this is the way to go?
I thought your feedback was really good, because I could see it going to 3, but I don't want a full automated strike zone. I think it makes the game too mechanical. No one wants to see it played by robots. I love what it does to catcher skills. Like, in the preseason, you had Cal Raleigh I think he got 8 consecutive challenges right. So it creates another skill that a catcher can show off. Another skill maybe a hitter can show off or a pitcher show off. So if you look at it like that, we're introducing maybe a different human aspect to the game that I think we can showcase. Like, these guys are really good at challenging, versus making it all mechanical and then taking all the fun stuff. Like, imperfections are sometimes part of the perfections of baseball. So having some of it's good. But I thought maybe adding a challenge is not a bad idea, but I wouldn't take it further than that. I like what they've done. Plus, it makes betting interesting in your game, like betting a beer on whether you're going to get the challenge right or not. Like, that's what I would do.
Oh, the fan interaction will be off the charts. It's going to be awesome. It's a guarantee. I just want to make sure everyone sees the instant replay of what I personally got 2 seconds ago, 2 feet away from Todd Father. What did you do when you heard him agree with you? Give me
I went like this, baby. I said, let's go. I said, I punted my fist. I said, somebody finally agrees with me on something. So that means a lot, man. You'll be getting a Christmas card this year. Don't you worry about that. Thank you.
Awesome. I can't wait.
Yes,
Rob, looking ahead, what's the one pitching, maybe not matchup? Yeah, the pitching matchup that you're most intrigued about in this next series?
Well, number one, I really want to see Shohei on the mound in the postseason, because if he takes his game up another notch, it's going to be just so much fun to watch. I also want to see the Mariners pitching staff go, because, I think they're putting it together. Watching them take on anybody is a lot of fun. They throw so many different looks at you. That'll be exciting for me. So, I think those are 2 of the big things. How the Brewers use Miz is going to be fun to watch. And I heard y'all talking about Freddie Peralta. I love him in the postseason. I think, he's just electric, and, having to beat him twice is tough.
And Quinn Priester never loses. So
that's right.
That's tough to go through. We had Quinn on just the other day, but I want to also talk about the relievers moving forward. You post and show all these incredible, appearances and the things that these guys do. but they have pitched so much. There's guys that have thrown 3 days in a row for the first time in their career, let alone first time this season. How do you feel like that affects the pitching going forward?
Well, I mean, it definitely impacts it, but they do have something like, this is the postseason. Pour it all out. Let's see what you got. And we'll see who can come back and who can't. I do like seeing, Matt Brash, we haven't seen yet. That's going to be fun to watch. But, whether guys can or not, this is where your reputations are made. Like watching Mason Miller, and granted, he didn't win, but he did pretty well pitching, back to back, right? Like, so guys can either step up or not. And this is part of the beauty of baseball.
All right. What about Mason? What about Mason Miller's pitch? I'm not sure who tweeted it. Was that the most perfect pitch?
It was as good a pitch as I've ever seen. Like, that's the fastest pitch of his career, the fastest pitch ever in the postseason, and it was as dotted as you can dot something. I mean, for all the guys, so you know how much drama we hear out there, like pitchers today are just throwers, blah, blah. You can't throw a pitch better than that. Like, so let's stop with that and let's admire what this guy's doing at that high a level. Like, that was as good a pitch as I have ever seen anybody throw.
There you go.
Can that be taught? Can that be taught, Rob?
I don't think so. Like, we can control, command can be taught a little bit. So you can know how to control your misses and all that, but to dial something in that well, that's a very hard thing to teach. I talked to Maddox about that. He said, yeah, I can teach people to command a little better, but I can't really teach them to command the ball like I did. Cause it's like, you either can do it or you can't, but you can get better at it.
Hey, Rob, I think one of the themes this year, as teams always look for an edge, was it felt like there's more technology to be able to take down tips, right? For teams to find the slightest thing that alerts them that a certain pitch is coming. Just like super basic casual fan question here, who's not, nearly as knowledgeable on the pitching part of things as you. Like, if we're seeing more and more pitchers, I think, have more variety, does that help to combat that a little bit? Because I feel like, and it's early in the playoffs, but we're seeing certain guys pop up and it's like, this guy's got 5 pitches, he's throwing 10% or more. And I'm like, oh, I feel like we're getting a little more of that again these days versus a 2 or a 3 pitch guy. I mean, how many signs can you give away to somebody and be able to pick off how many pitches you're able to see from a small tip?
That's exactly my theory on it too. I've talked about that before, where a guy like, Paul Skeen's adding now, he has 7 pitches. If you're tipping 1 or 2, it's very hard to tip 7 or to remember the 7 tips that you have to go through. So yeah, if you're relying on fastball, slider, changeup, you can probably figure those out. But if you're throwing 12 different pitch types, it makes it a little bit tougher. So yeah, I think it does combat tipping. I love, this is a real cat and mouse game. Like, we have cameras all over the ballpark. We have AI that can determine if a pitcher does anything different on a fastball versus a slider. But then now pitchers can combat that by, number one, fixing the tip, because, their teammates and their front office will help, but also throwing more different pitches that it makes it impossible to actually pick up a tip in real time. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that.
Can teams in the postseason get by without guys that are striking out? The biggest thing we talk about is hitters have to hit homers and teams have to strike guys out. Can the teams that are left get by without punching tickets?
It's going to be really hard to do that. Like, that is what the game's about, at least having dominant stuff. Like, you got to throw hard enough to keep hitters off balance. I don't know if you necessarily need strikeouts, but you definitely need to get hitters on a defensive. And that's going to be mostly done from, hard throwing guys. You do have crafty guys too that can, make their mark. But generally, and this is something I spoke to Chipper about. Chipper said, the reason why John Smoltz was so good in the postseason, he had dominant stuff. And that's what plays in the postseason, because, whether you play the infield, you have to play the infield in with a guy that pitches a contact, but with a guy that's going to case somebody, maybe it's a little easier to get out of those situations. So yeah, I like my guys with swing and miss.
And just to finish here, Kratz, I know your question plays into teams having contact versus power, right? So, but I will counter you here and we'll get Rob's thoughts. You have teams like the Blue Jays and the Brewers who are upper echelon power teams, right? And the Brewers have won and scored in a variety of ways, like almost as unique as we've seen it these days, because they're playing an older school brand of baseball. Do you think that plays, or does power elite strikeout stuff overcome all of that? Like, do you think these teams are the two serious threats, or do we look at teams that have more pop like the Yankees and the Dodgers?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question because I think sometimes good pitch, if you're swinging just for the fences all the time, you're also more apt to, be taken advantage of by some guys with swing and miss stuff. Putting a ball in play in the postseason is important. And that's why, getting somebody to not let them put the ball in play is important on the other side. But if you're playing small ball, that could make the difference. Like you're testing a team's fundamentals. You see some fundamentals break down sometimes on defense. And I do think it's a different game in the postseason. Every pitch matters a lot, and hitters, have to do a job instead of swinging for the fences a lot of times.
Rob, good stuff. Always appreciate you coming on, dropping insight. You got Todd Father as fired up as anyone, right? And he's pretty tired. He's on low sleep.
Yeah,
but you just gave him a jolt of energy for the last hour of the show here. He just came back from Tigers Guardians. So thanks for joining us, man. Always good to see you. Enjoy the weekend.
I'm ready for the holiday cards from Todd.
Oh, it's coming, baby. We'll get you a dress.
Awesome.
Halloween cards. Halloween cards are legit.
Hey, that's fine too.
You go all out for Halloween with the family.
all
Did you
out.
see the house?
I didn't see the.
Make sure you drive by.
Okay.
She did everything when I was gone. I'm like, well, I appreciate it, but thanks.
You might get a Halloween card now too, at least digitally, Rob.
Yes.
But good to see you.
Awesome. Good to see y'all.
Thank you. That's Pitching Ninja. Check them out. All the socials, YouTube as well. And we'll swing back and talk about the Tigers Guardians series and push it forward to Seattle. Hey, do you take anything from Alex Bregman saying, quote, proud of the fight in the room, proud of the guys? It was an honor to put on this jersey. Talking about the Boston Red Sox, he genuinely had a great time this year, and he clearly wanted to be with Boston. Kratz, he turned down more overall money to be with the Red Sox. It's going to probably turn into a bigger contract, so he made the right call here. He's going to opt out. But that sounds like a classic opt-out post-game quote.
It was a great answer.
Yeah.
It was an honor. I mean, he's not saying it's an honor to be here. See you later. I think it was it was an honor to be here, and I'm honored to put this jersey on. And I think that's what it is. You could take it one way or another. It always just leaves a little bit on the edge there. It's, just for you to think about, well, was that his last time he wants to be here? I didn't think too much into it. But he does have his own option. He can figure out whatever he wants to do. So that's on him. It's like Pete Alonso too. Like these are these young men, gentlemen that played this game. They have an opportunity to do whatever they want and basically say whatever they want. And I think he said it right. I think he said it was an honor. And I think he truly did love it there. So for sure.
Yeah. And he's a free agent, Kratz, but he might end up back with the Red Sox. I think they're going to make a strong push for him, but they did not win the best offer in this past offseason in terms of overall money. So they weren't going to get him on a contract like that. They took on the risk on their side too, that he would only be there for a season if they don't pay him more.
Yeah, they got a little extra dollars sitting around too. Devers dollars, Devers money, still sitting there. So they got some cash. And you know what? You're never supposed to play your hand before free agency. You got to make sure your wife or your girlfriend never is eating dinner with the owner's wife and goes, I love it here. Alex would never leave this place because it gives away a little bit of your bargaining power. Oh, well, I know how much his wife loves it here. She loves the town they're living in. The kids are here, all that stuff. That takes away a little bit of bargaining power. So good for Bregman for having a year that he had, for betting on himself, and also the fact that he can say, yeah, it was a good time to be here.
Exactly. The phrasing is important there.
Great phrase.
Yes. We will talk a lot about Alex Bregman this offseason, I'm sure. Yeah. It will carry. I don't think he's signing November 3rd.
You never know.
It's better than box scores, and it's time to preview the Tigers and the Mariners. And who better but reporting live from New Jersey, a man who just spent a lot of time with the Tigers, had one-on-one time with AJ Hinch, not me, but you, Todd Father. Great job calling the series. But first, push this forward for us. Tell me what the Mariners are going to run into with a Tigers team that had the worst divisional collapse that we've ever seen, yet still made the playoffs and then beat the team that passed them.
This is why baseball is the most screwed up sport in the world, and why only the strong can survive in this sport. I mean, listen, talking with AJ Hinch again, a mastermind, understanding when to bring guys in, who to play. I mean, he had Parker Meadows lead off first 2 games, and then next thing you know, he's batting 9th. Selfless team. Not one of these guys, you see them all around, they just wanted to win. They didn't care where they were hitting. They wanted to win. I mean, Javi Baez had a really good series. I think he was 5 for 10 at one point, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 5 for 11. Will Vest, absolute, just a monster of a reliever. He came in, gave up the single, error happened. Ramirez is on third base, strikeout, ground out to him, gets Ramirez out at third, and a pop out. I mean, in the bottom of the 9th inning, absolutely incredible. What more can you say about Tarik Skubal? This guy is an absolute freak. He looked like he got better as the innings went on. He could have won a couple more innings. They just got guys that are no-name guys that just get after it and play the game. And, I'd like to see, if I'm talking bad about them, I'd like to see a little better outing from Casey Mize.
Flaherty was good.
Flaherty came in and shoved. He did well. Almost getting through the 5th inning there. I think he did exceptional, throwing 94, 95. He worked backwards. Really good slider, off-speed pitches. Both teams didn't hit. They had one good inning. The Guardians had the 8th inning in Game 2. That was it. Tigers had one good inning, and that was in the 7th inning when they went off. Like
against Zabrowski and Gaddis, who they kept seeing day after day.
Day after day. So, I mean, at the end of the day, these two teams, whoever moved on, I think it's still going to be tough for them to win a series moving forward. For the Tigers, I think it's going to come down to hitting. I think with Skubal going 2 games, hopefully it's going to be hard to beat him. So we'll see how this goes. I think the Mariners do have the edge, though, with hitting and pitching. I do think the bullpen edge goes to the Tigers at the end of the day. But they got to use the bullpen a lot in some of these games. So how rested are they going to be?
I don't know if they have an edge on any front. Yeah. The Tigers have a good bullpen.
I was trying to help.
Trying to find something. Yeah, I mean, that would be the spot. Mariners have a better offense. Mariners definitely have a better starting staff. You want to make some comps with the bullpen. Okay, Kratz. I mean, I like Brash and Munoz probably better than the best 2 on the Tiger side. Maybe the Tigers have a little bit more depth if we want to try and search. But how do you match these teams up? For me right now, I think the only thing that could hold the Mariners back is if they don't find it on offense right from the jump, right? Like I know we joke about this all the time, but it is a fact. Sometimes teams do come off of this bye and their offense looks a little slow for a game or 2. And if you're slow for game 1 and you lose, and then you run into Skubal game 2 and you lose and you're down 2-0, then it becomes a different series. Other than that, I think the Mariners are a much better team than the Tigers right now.
I think it's a clear advantage. I think the advantage is all across the board, except for the fact that the Mariners haven't been in this situation. They don't know what it's like to feel 5-6 days off since their last at bat. And the Tigers can still pitch. I get it. They don't have the arms that the Mariners do, and I see the advantage for the Mariners for sure. But the Tigers can pitch. They essentially shut down for about 27 innings a Guardians lineup that was bad. A Guardians lineup was absolutely bad, but they shut them down. So can they carry that over to the series? They're going to have to. Because they're not going to have Skubal twice. They're only going to have him once. And the Mariners, to me, if they come out to win this series, first game, they got to come out swinging. I don't care if you're swinging at balls. I think it's probably going to be Kiter Montero if I've heard it or read it correctly. I know they haven't made it exact, or they haven't released who it's going to be, but they got to swing. I don't care if you're striking out on pitches out of the zone. You got to start swinging. You can't just stand there and be like, I'll get my legs back under me. I'll figure out. I'll see some pitches. That's not your game. Your game is to go put the ball in the seats. And I think the Mariners definitely have the advantage top to bottom. I don't even see one position where the Mariners, where the Tigers have a better player besides whoever Tarek Skubal faces.
Yeah, they still have the best pitcher. But the thing with the Mariners is Logan Gilbert's got number one stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know George Kirby didn't have his best season, but it also started off with an injury.
He's still pretty good.
That's a number one starter in my mind. I think we're still waiting on what's the deal with Brian Wu, but they also can push him to at least a game 3. Who knows? If they feel like he's close enough, maybe even to a game 4, right? You could go Castillo game 3. No one's going to flinch at that.
No.
And then you could put Wu in game 4 if you feel like you need a little extra time. I mean, I'm with you though, Kratz. Like, I just want to remind everyone about the Seattle lineup because it's been a problem for so many years and now it's not. Randy Arozarena, who has some postseason experience.
Oops.
Look up 2020, people. Cal Raleigh, MVP. Julio Rodriguez, superstar. Josh Naylor, clutch, postseason experience, contact. Now he's a sneaky stolen base guy. Jorge Polanco, very, very solid role player in the lineup.
Very.
Gino Suarez in the 6 hole.
Mean Gene?
50 homer Mean Gene.
Oh.
What did he finish with? 49 or something? But,
49.
49. And then your last 3, Canzone, Robles, J.P. Crawford, who's had plenty of clutch moments, and obviously some guys on the bench, depending on lefty or righty. Like, this is a very, very talented ball club. They put together the best team that we've seen from the Mariners, likely since 2001.
Scott,
100%.
Scott plays his card when he's really excited about a team or a person. He gets going a little bit. So I think he thinks the Mariners are going to win it all. I got to be honest.
No, I picked the Phillies. I did my picks the other day. I picked the Phillies.
Do you see the Mariners win the American League?
Who did I pick to represent the AL? I did. Yeah. We both did. We
gotta
pick
go
the
back
same thing, Kratz?
Yes.
We did. Okay.
I went back. I think I did Yankees, Dodgers again.
Okay. I mean, hey, they're both in it too. So
it's. I just want to go back to a comment. You said MVP after somebody.
Oh, sorry. I snuck that in there.
I was just confused. That's all. But I agree with everything else you said. For sure.
And I think you agree that it's by far the best catcher and the biggest catcher threat at the plate in the sport.
Oh, yes.
Right? I mean, you got a 60-homer bat in this lineup. Cal Raleigh's been really good for the first, 4 years.
He just looks like he's going to do some damage every time he's in the box.
Like, as a video
Repeat
game player, he just doubled his power number.
Repeat what you just said. A 60 home run bat in the lineup.
Catcher.
That guy.
I don't care if it's a catcher. I don't care if it's a DH. They have a 49 home run bat. They have a 60 home run bat. What did we just talk to Rob about? We just talked about home runs. These boys can swing it. And the only thing I would disagree, maybe Julio Rodriguez isn't a superstar. Maybe he's just a star. But he could be a superstar in the playoffs. Randy Arozarena's 2020 season, I saw it firsthand. I was in the bullpen watching him just hit dinger after dinger after dinger and posing and not posing and everything that he was doing. I mean, this lineup is scary. That's why I picked them to win the American League. I think their depth and their length and all 26 guys is a big threat.
I know this is off topic, but did he wear cowboy boots like during batting practice? Arozarena, was that? Or was I seeing things back in the
No.
World Series?
I think he did. I think he did out to shag.
Yeah, that's awesome.
In 2020, right?
Awesome.
When he was Babe Ruth for a month. I mean, he was ridiculous.
Dude, that was so funny.
I'll go back at Kratz here. So Fangraphs and Baseball Reference have their WAR numbers, and we don't hold it as gospel, but it's certainly a guide, right? At least according to them,
it works.
They have different levels. 0 is replacement level. 2 is solid to everyday starter. 4 to 5, you're an all-star. 6+, you're a superstar MVP candidate. 8+ you're an MVP, right? Most seasons you can see an MVP at that number. Julio Rodriguez this year, 6.2.
Ooh.
Okay. What's his career? What's his
5.5
career?
last
the
year.
numbers guy. Remember the numbers guy.
6.2 this year. Well, someone's got to do it. I didn't play, so this is my only ammo. 6.2 this year, 5.5 last year, 4.3 the year before. Or sorry, 6.8 this year. I'm going backwards. 4.3, 5.5, and 6.2 is rookie year. He is at least on the cusp of superstar player all around, right? Because he does everything well.
Yep, I had him in the all-star range, and you have him slightly above. I appreciate your opinion, Scott, and I value you as a person.
Thank you. And I love to agree and then often disagree with you because it's fun. There's more of that on a show called Tiger Territory. We actually had a few requests lately from people like, hey, where's the Mariners version of this? Well, we have 12 team shows. Tiger Territory is one of them, okay? Kieran, Cody, and Austin Jackson, part of the FT network. There will be more shows announced over the next several months and years. Coming up next, Pete Fairbanks, Rays closer. He's going to talk about the end of the season for him, but also the scouting report on the Yankees Blue Jays series, since he knows those teams. Did you see this from Yusei Kikuchi on Instagram? He made a t-shirt called Jopsticks out of Jo Adell's broken bats.
Oh my God.
Oh,
hey,
man,
whatever works. That's fun. That's good. So they said we made t-shirts. We named it Jopsticks. Best in the team at breaking bats. So he did a whole post about it.
It's pretty cool.
It's tremendous. It is tremendous. This is a little inside of the fodder that goes on in clubhouses. I mean, this is so funny because he's a dude that breaks a lot of bats, and it's a pitcher who's got time on his hands, so he can rib on him a little bit. And he made chopsticks out of it.
He literally made chopsticks. He sent them to Japan and had them made into chopsticks. Hopefully they cleaned the bats and took the dirt and pine tar off of them.
Yeah, you got to sanitize those bad boys.
Bad. You got to sanitize them real good.
Then you can hold it. Then it doesn't fall off. You get a little pine tar just on the end of it. Doesn't fall off. Ironically, I played in Japan with Jo Adell, so it's kind of like a full circle moment for me. But you need to look up Jo Adell's numbers. If people didn't know, 2019 Olympic qualifier. You're welcome, Todd.
Well, you lost. Thank you.
Jo Adell had a nice season.
Yeah, you got to look it up. It's kind of a coming out. When Joe was coming up through the Angels system, there were scouts that were putting Hall of Fame projection on him. I saw the scouting report. Let's temper our expectations a little bit. That's a high expectation, but takes a little longer for some guys.
Mm-hmm.
True.
What about sticky stuff? And then you use that on the chopsticks.
I think it has to go under review.
Okay.
No, listen.
A little bit of this, and then it helps just keep the chopstick in a good spot. I just need it for grip. It's not for performance. I need it for grip. I just need to hold the chopstick well.
I'm not a good chopstick holder.
Me neither.
At all. I thought I feel like you'd be.
I love sushi. No, I didn't use a chopstick until I was a grown man. But now I can handle a chopstick.
Kratz
not great.
Just uses his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle finger.
He just grabs it.
Scott uses a fork to eat sushi. Gross.
I do. I use a fork.
It's actually a spoon.
You're gross. You
got to put a little soy sauce on there.
Oh. Hey. It's Friday, so we're always a little looser on a Friday. Perfect time to bring on our guy, Pete Fairbanks. First off, congrats, another season you get through, Pete, and great to have you on. But I'm actually going to throw a curveball at you right from the start here. I don't know if you have any plans to be a baseball personality or broadcaster in the future, but we're going to put you to the test right now, if you'd like, and get your analysis on the postseason so far and on the Yankees-Blue Jays matchup coming up, since you've seen those teams a few times, right?
Yeah, man, that's usually I would hopefully be able to do a little more research than you guys are putting me on the spot here. I've loved it so far. I've been I've been back at my parents' house for a couple days, getting my off season all in a row, so I've actually been able to watch a lot of it. Yeah, it's been we've had three game threes, I think.
Yep.
And you know, none of them. Well, I guess kind of the Detroit Cleveland was a little high scoring, but you gotta love the three and under ball games with how some of the guys have been throwing the ball, especially old. I'm not going to say his last name because I'll probably accidentally curse. We'll call him Cam for me not having any slips, but that was a fun outing to watch. A man threw the baseball with some authority.
Um, you've seen the Yankees a lot. You've seen the Blue Jays a lot. They're very different teams. From what you remember facing both of them this year, you can go one by one, whichever one you want first. What would be your scouting report on what you remember from facing those two teams or even just playing them, right? Not that you necessarily got through everyone in the lineup,
Hmm.
but what do you think about those two in a matchup like this coming up?
I like that it's a little contrasting, right? You got a high contact Blue Jays, right? You got a lot of guys that are plus contact. And New York, they're going to hit homers, right? So, I mean, I think if Toronto strings it together like they're capable of, like they certainly did against us to in the year, they're a formidable ball club. I'm excited to see, if you can keep the Yankees in the yard. I mean, I think it should has the sorry, it has the potential to be a pretty good series. And as a baseball fan, I'm hoping it's a five gamer, like I hope for all of them to go the distance.
How tough is that to face a team like the Blue Jays? We were talking about Cam Schlittler and how he was getting a lot of swings and misses from a team who swings and misses. How tough is that to say? Let's say you go back to back series. You go Yankees. You're coming in the ninth inning against the Yankees, 2 out of 3 games. Bang, we're going top of the zone, curveball down. They swing and miss a lot. Now you go and face the Blue Jays. I know you have to be you, but they're going to put the ball in play. And to me, there's more fear of
Mhm.
your late life heater at the top of the zone getting hit out of the ballpark. How do you change or do you not change? And you just hope, you know what? I can still punch guys out and you have success that way.
Mhm. Right. I mean, I think you always go strength on strength, right? Like I'm not going to necessarily shy away from what I'm good at because a lineup, has guys that are higher contact. Does it affect like where you're going to go? Um, yes, but I also think, in teams like that that are high contact gives you the potential for quick outs, right? If you know, you're maintaining your ability to throw any pitch in any count, right? And you know that they're going to be swinging. Yeah, you run the risk of getting victimized early, but you also, have the positive of being able to, get that second pitch double play ball or, your first pitch infield pop up. Whereas, the guys that do, the lineups that have more swing and miss, but also have more juice, you run the risk of eventually leaving something over the heart as, the at bat progresses if they're able to, lay off a couple, you get to two strikes, have a good take against you, et cetera. They present their obviously different challenges, but they're also, advantages to facing both as a pitcher.
It was said in the last series by Judge that when you see a closer multiple times within a short span, it's a lot easier because you're seeing the same stuff back to back nights or a night off and then again. Do you see that as an advantage for teams? And do you think teams think about, hey, you know what, maybe we don't bring the closer in a 3-run game because he just threw. We feel like we have a guy that can shut the door, and now all of a sudden he's available for back to backs later on in the series without letting the hitter see you as a
Mhm.
closer.
Right. I mean, I think you kind of got to stick to your guns, right? If you're in the safe situation, right? You're in the leverage ball games. You're going to throw your guys. That's just how what the game has progressed to. I mean, obviously, in a seven gamer, you might not be throwing the three in a row potentially, but given that we have a much different, like it's the 2-3-2, right? You can throw every game once you get to it. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's why we started taking starters out early, right? Is the more you see somebody, the more familiar you are, the better off you're going to be at kind of seeing what the scouting report doesn't tell you, right? If you got a guy that's let's say got a little extra run but doesn't sink as much that first time. seeing it on paper versus seeing it in the box is probably two different things. Obviously not a hitter, but that's my best guess. So the more that you see, okay, well, this guy, it's a sinker, right? But it runs more than it does sink. You're able to then adjust to that quicker, as you're seeing him either in back-to-back days or, throughout the course of a start against a lineup.
I want to talk a little about relievers coming in, closers coming in. As you know, you're a closer. Like, is it kind of refreshing to see a guy go 8 innings and, maybe give you guys a little leeway of understanding, if you were on that team, you would be the guy knowing, all right, well, I know I'm coming in the 9th. It kind of gives me a breath of fresh air a little bit. This is like an anomaly right now. 8 innings for a starter. I thought that was pretty incredible.
I loved it. I hadn't been watching. I was watching the Thursday night football game last night. I saw that I think Schlittler was at 100 after 7. And shout out to letting them go back out there for the 8th. I loved it. I think, obviously that's the time to do it, right? If you got a guy that's shoving like he was, I think he had 5 hits, no walks over 8. I mean, that's pretty good. I think you run the guy out there, like they did with Crochet in the first, like you do with the Scooble type in the Tigers Guard series. So, I think if you're gonna let your guy ride and let him ride and he does his thing, it definitely makes it, easier on the back end where you're like, all right, well, there's no mixing and matching. We're going one pitching change and we're taking it home.
No doubt. We were talking a lot. I asked this question to Rob Freeman about the ABS system. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think this is going to be pretty good? Are you big on robo umps? Talk a little about, you don't have to dive deep into it, but are you excited about this next year?
I think we got some hitters that are pretty excited just talking to guys in the clubhouse. I mean, I think hopefully it acts like it's supposed to, right? Where you lose the calls that are a ball off, right? If you got something that, early in the game, you only got 2 of them, you don't want to burn one. I don't think they're going to be as aggressive around the edges, but I think the bad misses in which, you get the weird thing, the you know, stifle to sneeze when he's trying to call a pitch and blanks on one, or, catcher's moving as he's trying to throw somebody out. I think we're going to be able to get those back either way. And I think that'll be a pretty big positive. But I think along the edges, at least early, I don't think it's going to be super different because I don't think people are going to want to mess with, you know, it's my 8 hole, maybe not the best decision maker, doesn't like to call. I don't think that, as a unit, right, as a team, they're going to want to burn that challenge early. So I mean, maybe they do. Maybe everybody's got some leeway to try and figure out, who our best zone discipline guys are. But I think hopefully it takes away the misses over the plate and way off.
Are you going to do this one time next year? Do you have the visual and the ability as a pitcher?
I wanted to real bad this year on one because it ended up costing me a game. Um, so maybe I don't know. Maybe they might put the handcuffs on me and not let me do anything too crazy. But I had to get some out of the way when we were playing in I think we were playing in Clearwater this spring, and I was tapping my head. Actually, that game it felt like there were probably 20 challenges, and they probably went 19 for 20 on the player side of it.
So which one? Do you remember which? I mean, you obviously remember which one.
I know exactly.
Which
I know
pitch was it?
exactly which one. It was a heater to it was one of the Guardians lefties. It was a strike him out, throw him out that got taken away because he balled it, even though it was like mid thigh, right on the inside corner. Ball, first and second
3-2?
instead of 2 outs. Oh yeah.
Oh, and he was out at second too. Good throw.
And he was great throw from 40. He was out by like 12 feet.
This is where the ABS. Not everyone's like, oh, it's only one pitch. One pitch doesn't swing a game.
Swung that game.
Text him.
At least contributed to it. So yeah, now that I'm free from the season, I can I don't know who I can't get anything. I'm not going anymore, dude. I just know that one rankled me a little bit, but we're past it now. Got everything out in the open. We're past it.
That's great.
Nice.
My question to you, talk about Steinbrenner Field, man. Talk about home heavy schedule. Talk a little about playing there. Was it all you expected? How the Yankees did for you? Was the clubhouse great? Everything. Was it that bad having not a major league stadium for the whole year?
Underneath, I mean, I know they just did a big renovation. Underneath was unbelievable. The locker room, food, everything, super, super nice, great weight room. This is probably the most tired I've ever been after a season, and I don't want to say that there's a direct correlation between playing 81 games outside in Florida versus playing 81 games inside in Florida. But I think just being out there every day in that, it wears on you a little bit.
Yeah,
All right.
I
Well,
I would agree.
Yeah.
yeah, Florida. I'm in Florida right now, and it's hot. I'm sweating like Francisco Cervelli at a drug test. But if we have to go back to part of the season, I want to go back to something that I think you cleared the air on, the whole blowing the kiss. My favorite part
Oh,
of the
yeah.
comment was a Lego loving group over there. I have no
Hmm.
disrespect to them. Can you elaborate
Yeah.
and just continue to clear the air? Because not everybody from FT is a Rays or Orioles fan and saw exactly what happened in the moment when you were accused of blowing a kiss at the dugout, but it was at a fan.
It's my favorite thing about the internet is that you can turn it into whatever you want it to be, regardless of the actual context of any situation. Um, yeah, there was some cat would just kept on. Like, game's over, right? We're shaking hands, just still blowing me up because who was it? It was Basalo, their super prospect. I hit him in the hand. I'm like, fuck. Sorry, I cursed right there after talking about not cursing with Schlittler. Um, but so this guy was just MFing me after, like, well after the game, and I'm like, can it? And kept on doing it. So I blew him a kiss, and they thankfully there was no bad blood on either any of the 52, or I guess 56 and that were out there. But yeah, probably, I can get I can get going in the heat of the moment a little bit. But yeah, it was I thought I came with a pretty good PR statement afterwards, which was uh I thought the description of said guy that was chirping me was probably helpful in that regard.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I forget exactly what the words that were that you said. Was he wearing a starter jacket? Is that part of the thing that you had said?
Yeah, he had like one of the old dugout jackets. So yeah. Yeah, it was
Big fan.
yeah, it would have been great if it was a great suspect reporting on my part. I'd like to pat myself on the back.
Hey, you got the brand down, the whole thing. Question for you also about at the end of the season. Did you unveil a new pitch?
Yeah, so just decided to start throwing a little rifle slider just for fun. I'm good at getting on the outside of the ball, and I was able to kind of figure out that happy medium between the big breaker and the four seam, and felt like it was a good time to break it out.
How does that work when we get to this late in the season? Usually we see this more in spring training. Can you take me through the evolution? You've been working on this in the past. Was it something you work on
Mhm.
during the season for pitchers to know, right? For any aspiring pitcher to
Yeah.
know, and also to be like, wow, maybe I can't do that like a big leaguer. How did this happen?
So whenever I'm throwing if I don't get up and warm up, don't go in, or I won't throw off the mound. And when I'm down for a little bit, I'll mess around, not mess around. Well, I guess kind of mess around. I've always, like, I used to, it's similar to the breaking ball I used to throw kind of before I started trying to get more and more depth on it, trying to get, that finger to the front. And so whenever I'm throwing with Snides and Charlie pregame, I'll mess around with, maybe trying to run one little two seam action. I'll try and throw a true cutter. I'll throw a bigger breaking ball just for me, I think it's good to figure out how to make the ball do certain things, even if that's not what you do, just as a proprioception kind of trick for myself. And I eventually was talking to Styles. I was like, I'm gonna throw this rifle slider in game. I think it'll be good. And then, yeah, threw it. It was, I think I was throwing some in the bullpen pregame that were like 5 and 4 arm side for me. And, that's a kind of where you want to be if you're throwing a rifle slider that's somewhere between 5 and 7 off the heater. And, it turns out I can throw it fairly consistently and decided to run with it.
How many times have you thrown 3 days in a row in the season?
Twice, I think, not many.
Do you think it's too much expected of these teams that just went through? And you said it earlier. You said, okay, all these guys, everybody can throw day in and day out. Is it too much to expect a lot of some of these guys who have already gone 3 days in a row on the Tigers, on the Cubs, like that are not used to it, and you are an all-star closer who never did it?
Look, I think postseason everybody's more willing to do stuff like that. I think like regular 3 in a rows, like throughout the regular season, probably beat you down about as much as any workload thing throughout the year. However, I think if people are saying they're good and they're willing to do it, and it's you got stuff that's on the line like you do in the postseason, I mean I think that's part for the course. I think Emilio Pagan, I think threw 4 in a row, getting the Reds to the postseason. So, I think you're more willing to put your body through stuff when you see it at the end, right? If you got to throw a 3 in a row to, put your boys into the next round, I think everybody in the bullpen is going to do that.
Pete, last one for you. There's a club option for 2026. We might not talk to you for a little bit because it's the off season. Any thoughts, indications, conversations yet with the team? And is there, even if you don't have that for us, I'm sure there's some type of deadline, right, where the team has to let you know what's going on. And I mean, I think they'd be silly if they're not taking that, but that's just me. What's the deal with your status?
I had actually met with my agent today earlier, went and got a burger at my favorite St. Louis dive, Carl's Drive-In. It's probably my favorite burger in America. Just putting that out in the world for whenever people are in St. Louis. Um, yeah, we had a talk. I mean, I think we've still got a lot of stuff up in the air, right? It's a month of playoffs plus you got your 5 days afterwards. So we'll see how it all shakes out. And I guess we'll know if I got to put my house on the market by the time that's all said and done.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll get you in like a month and change or something like that, and get
Yeah,
a check back.
Like November 4th or something like that.
Boom, putting it on the calendar. Done. Todd Father wants to know: Are you in the St. Louis area now?
No, not even that. I'm just where you look like. Where are you at right now? Are you in an office or something with the bathroom?
Yeah,
behind you?
I am. This is great. I can plug these guys too. I am at 314 Sports Cards and Collectibles. My dad, at times, I think he overstays his welcome here because he's always up here buying cards. But yeah, made some good Pokemon trades. I snagged a little something for myself. I'm probably gonna go rip another box here when I'm done. But they're great up here. I did an autograph signing in this back room. Now I'm chatting with you guys. So yeah, 314 Sports Cards and Collectibles. If you guys are also in the St. Louis area and would like to snag a box of your latest release.
Done. Shout out. And
Let's go.
This show is all over the TVs for real.
If I don't end up in, baseball baseball analyst, I think I should just be a voiceover guy. I think that's got just let me read the ads in between the podcasts. I think that's right up my alley.
There
You
go.
can happily take that for us. Foul Territory is presented today by. Hey, you can take that any day. We'll call you. Years down the road when you retire, you're our voiceover guy. You got it. Pete, you're the man. Thank you so much for joining us. Great to see you again. Congrats on another great season. And we'll chat with you over the offseason at some point.
Sounds good. Appreciate you guys.
You too. That's Peter. FT fam, we'll be right back with some coaching news for the Mets. They let some people, or a lot of people, go. BetMGM locks. Yesterday, unsuccessful. Dude, I'm ice cold. I'm 0 for 3 to start the postseason. I just can't get it together. But neither could anyone yesterday. Money backs are okay. We start fresh for the postseason. I'm terrible.
Crazy, look at that.
AJ are even. Kratz wipes away his red in the regular season and starts fresh with a postseason up 130. So, leader in the clubhouse, what do you have?
Run line, Mariners. Coming out at plus 105, game 1. Tigers, not only are they exhausted from their 3 games, they're exhausted flying all the way out to Seattle. They're going into Seattle, and I think Seattle's going to come out swinging. They got an ace on the hill. They might have 3 aces on the hill. Who knows as the series goes on here. But it is game 1, run line, plus 105.
Okay.
Nice.
What are you doing?
I'm going Cubbies money line. I'm going plus 130. I like riding the hot hand. I see it being a low scoring game too. It's just I feel like they play well in these, and their bullpen is vicious. So I like them. I like them to win the game. So little 500 piece Nuggets to win 650.
Nice. During the season, it was kind of an average rated bullpen. What, you like that big boy money from Todd Father?
I just like, hey, Todd's got that good cashish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know what he has it from? Regular season winnings.
Boom.
How you doing?
Did I end up being the victor again?
Yes. Yes.
Topic.
Don't even. No. Yes, you did.
Yes. If you stayed on course of what you usually do, yes. Pierzynski dropped a 2K bet.
Yeah, no,
he did win. He did win that bet.
How about we'll go overall record
for consistency and record? Yes, you did.
Thank you.
Pick up the dub. Most of us did well this year. Surprisingly,
that's good.
This was a slow start for many of us this year.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a different category, but for many of us, we were able to pick up the pace down the stretch.
Very nice.
September for me felt like an easier month to bet. I don't know why.
Felt like the Guardians in September.
Right.
Yeah.
You were just able. There were some serious streaks going on in September.
Very
both
good.
Positive and negative, and some of us were able to capitalize. Anyway, Pat, who lost a bet, we'll get into that, and me bringing you our picks after this segment. Hot corner, let's sizzle. Whoa. The New York Mets had a disastrous last few months of the season where they did not even make the playoffs with the number 2 payroll in the sport, and a team that made it to the CS last year did not make the playoffs. So what do? They start with massive amounts of coaching changes. Pitching coach Jeremy Hefner is the headliner here. He's out. Third base coach Mike Sarbaugh, he's out. Co-hitting coaches Jeremy Barnes and Erik Chavez, they're out. John Gibbons stepped down. Catching coach Glenn Sherlock retired. We also learned even some not secondary, but some other coaches like assistant pitching coach Desi Druskill and bullpen coach Jose Rosado, both given permission to speak to other teams. The only people invited back, with Carlos Mendoza, of course, still managing, first base coach Anton Richardson, and it's dessert. They stole a lot of bases they shouldn't have stole. He had something cooking there. Strategy coach Danny Barnes and coaching assistant Rafael Fernandez. But let's start at the top here. Kratz. Last year, Jeremy Hefner was a superstar for what he was able to do with the pitching staff. What the hell changed in one season that leads to him being out of the mix? And is this a little too aggressive? Because it sounds like this guy's a very talented pitching coach, young pitching coach in the sport. Is this too much swinging the pendulum one way? Of course, we're not there on the day-to-day, but if you look at what he was able to do, the magic I think he was able to put together last year and help to build this pitching program over the past several years, are they throwing it all away due to one bad season where they ran out of pitching and made some very questionable pitching decisions in terms of who they picked up.
I thought you built up enough street cred from the year before when you helped create like some really, really high surplus value in some pitchers when the org wasn't willing to go out and spend on those guys. So look, the game of baseball is what you said, a very day-to-day thing. And sometimes things get on people's nerves. I'm not saying it's just Jeremy Hefner. I'm not saying it's just David Stearns or Mendy. Like, those decisions are made, I hope, by the entire organization. But the fact that the pitching didn't do well this year shows that Jeremy Hefner was on a short leash, because what he did last year, this team should have missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. And because of the fact that they got so much value out of the pitchers that they did last year, shows what he did. And then this year, it cratered.
I want to give Glenn Sherlock a little love here. I had Charles as an assistant coach with the Mets, and he's one of the better BP pitchers I've had. He's one of the better human beings, so give him credit. Congratulations on your retirement. He probably was. They were probably like, "Hey, man, maybe you should retire."
Well, they cleared out most of the coaching staff.
Yeah, maybe he got the picture. But yeah, I love Jeremy Hefner, man. I think he's a stud of a pitching coach. I think he's a stud of a human being. I think he'll get back up on his feet in a hurry. Mike Sarbaugh, I can see him going to the Reds. Him and Tito Francona have been together for a long time. Another beautiful guy. How about Mike? You know what he's known for or no? You ever hear about this? He was like one of the extra baseball players on Major League. He's got like in the movie.
Little cameo.
He's like, yeah, you'll see me in one instant there. So
apparently he was the Brett Beatty defense whisperer over the past year or two.
A lot of stud names, man.
Yeah.
And it's John Gibbons. I mean, he's been around for years. Did he manage you, Kratzy?
Yeah, Gibby's always been in the bullpen. You know, he's always making sure those guys, Waddle's out there. I hope some of these guys, maybe it was kind of a mutual thing. I mean, we hear fire. I hope it comes out as kind of a mutual thing, because don't forget, there's a ton of managerial openings. I'm not saying Gibby's going to manage again. I think he probably would like to. Mike Sarbaugh's been long on a list of managers, and he's never gotten that opportunity. Maybe those guys said, hey, you know what? You want to go search for that? I get it. We got to make some changes. Here's how we're going to change.
Let us know your thoughts.
Kratzy's ready.
Yeah, drop your thoughts in the comments. FT fam, we'll be right back with Slap.
Oh, Kratzy's serious.
Oh yeah, that's a game pace, coaching game pace right there.
What up, my people of FT Nation? It's your boy Parlay Pap coming to you with these playoff picks. We got to get it going. These are a lot tougher than the regular season, in my opinion. So today, let's take Freddie Peralta and the Brewers. They're going to be coming in hot, and they've played well all year. And I also like the Seattle Mariners. They're my sleeper pick this year. I look at them going a long way. So we're going to parlay them together, get plus 150, I believe. We're going to put 100 on it, and we're going to get that playoff cheese, baby. Let's go.
Good luck, Pap. I like it. I'm with Pap. And then some. So it's Pap and me against Todd Father. I'm doing a plus money bet, a run line for the Brewers. I know the playoffs often produce a lot of close games, but
they're not going to hit.
The money line was tough on that one. I think it was like minus 140, 150.
Oh, that's nothing.
But I'm not dropping 150 to win a hundo. I'm like, then I'm going run line here for the Brewers.
1,500 to win 1,000.
I'm not that bold yet. I'm not that bold yet. But you know what? I'll drop.
I'm not telling you what to do.
I'm dropping 3 hundo. That'll give me a nice number
baby.
If I produce that. 3 hundo for a plus 145 piece. I got the Brewers riding Freddie Peralta and a rested bullpen, and Trevor McGill is back. He said he doesn't care if he closes or pitches the 4th or whatever, right? And I got the Brewers all fresh and rested to beat the Cubbies by 2 runs or more. There are your locks for Saturday.
I don't see it.
There are no games on this Friday. Why? Because they get an off day after the wild card series. I don't like it because this is an open night to absolutely dominate the sports landscape. There's not really real football or much football going on. Saturday and Sunday is, but whatever. Enjoy those games tomorrow. We'll be watching all weekend long and then recapping it on Monday. BetMGM players can get an MLB postseason odds boost token. That means you use that token on your bet slip, activate it, and then you would win more with the odds boost token. That's how it works, okay? Receive extra winnings in unrestricted bonus dollars, depending on how that odds boost token looks in your app or at betmgm.com. Gambling problem or concern? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Let's slap. There's continuing manager news. Evan Grant dialed in on the Rangers, said Skip Schumaker's the focus for the search. Rangers not entertaining thoughts of external candidates. This makes sense. Skip's been with the team. He came over and he was a valued free agent candidate, went over to the Rangers, probably anticipation of what was going to happen here. Bruce Bochy stepping down, Skip's in. Kratz, the only thing missing now is them just nailing down the years, the terms, the money, and then we'll make the announcement. It might happen today. I mean, our show's ending at 3 o'clock Eastern time. You could see a 5:45 East Coast time. Skip Schumaker is officially the Rangers manager. It's happening. It's happening for sure. He's not there for funsies. They're just negotiating money in terms. Tell me I'm wrong. Somebody tell me I'm wrong.
I don't think you're right, but I don't think you're wrong.
So you think I'm just there?
I listen.
I'm just there.
You're a fly on the wall.
Okay. Kratz?
I think he has plenty of options. I know that for sure.
Oh, okay.
So they better get the job done. Let's put it that way.
It's a good call. Rangers ain't poor. Christian Yelich said the series is going to be decided by players. Doesn't give a crap about Craig Counsell's theatrics.
Blitz back.
He's like, it's not like you can run a blitz package. Good line.